All right. I love piping. All right. Not sure if you can see that in the shot. Yeah, but we've come to where we need to join these two ends of the piping. I want that join to be right at the seam right there. So I'm going to cut this in front of that seam. Hope you can see that. And I'm going to leave the piping inside of this end. Okay. But now for the overlap, which is going to be right there, I'm going to go a little bit past that. Now the difference is, find me a seam ripper here. There we go. Okay. I'm going to remove the pipe from this side. Okay. That takes care of that. Of opening it. Pull the rest of that off there. And I'm not going to remove all the pipe, but just as it starts connecting to this piece, which is free, it's open, it's hanging free, and the overlap is going to be right there, right at that seam. That's the goal. So I'm going to remove all of the pipe until it naturally connects. Can we see how that now naturally connects with this extension end? Okay, good. So now I'm going to feed this section into and fold. Hope you can see that. I'll fold that until it is where I want it. I want it to be pretty much right at that seam. So I'll just go ahead and do that first. Lay that within. And can we see that? How now when I continue, I've closed that up. I'll show you that in a second. Let's get this little loose piece off right there. I've closed that up now. And from the visible part, that's pretty much right at that seam. And that's the goal that I'm looking for. So when I put the other part on top of that, that's the part that will be showing. See if I can get you to see that. Let's see how close I can get here. I'm shooting that right on my phone. Can we see that? All right. Now, I'm going to line this up. And I want to show you this. Okay. Okay, I've got that stitched down on, we'll call this the facing part of the brim. Okay. Or one section of the brim. Doesn't matter what we call it at this point. The main thing I want to show you is when I put the other piece on, then I'm flipping it around because now I've got a reference stitch. And that makes sense, right? Now I can see it. So when I put the piping into the groove there, it'll naturally sink right in there, right? And now I'm gonna make that a little wider as I get over that lump. Okay. And nicely following along that edge. Let me kind of hold this. And I'm continuing to fill also as it goes under, as the actual pipe goes under that groove. I'm constantly kind of feeling, making sure that I'm finding my place. Okay, and we're coming back around to the first half. I back stitched, but I really didn't need to. As long as I crossed right over to the original, ran right over the original stitch there. Now something that I like to do, you can kind of see that is now within there, but now something that I like to do to guarantee that I get up close. Now this is the side that I just now stitched on. Now I'll flip it. And go around the entire thing again. I just started in a random spot, so let me just a little chalk there so I can see where I'm at when I come back around. That will guarantee that it's right up snug to the piping. You don't have to go as fast as I'm going. This isn't fast. I don't even consider this fast, but it's going to be fast for some people. That takes us right back. And now you see what I mean. I just ran right back into that stitch on top of it, so I really didn't need a back stitch, so I didn't this time. Clean up your trash always clean up your trash. Even though that's going to be inside. And with this particular heavy cloth, it won't show, but it would show on others. Make sure I'm still in the shot. Yeah, I'm going to go back in there and grade that seam. But I'm just flipping it around so that I can show that to you. And that will be right on the edge when I'm done. All right. So that will be the brim. It's got a nice little piping around it. All right. Let me get in there and trim that out, grade it, turn it around completely, and then stitch it on out. Got some top stitching that'll go on it. And very good. So I'm just walking. I'm using a hand wheel right here. I've got a whole lot of layers here. And this is not my commercial walking foot. Now, I've got that machine, but that's not what I'm using right now. It will just step right over that. But it does not hurt at all to grab that hand wheel and walk it right over, especially with the several thick layers that I produce right here on this edge due to the actual denim, some canvassing, and the piping. Yeah, just walk it over. Walk it by hand on that little section. Well, there's two of them. I've already done the other one before I started filming. And that is the first piece, or the first ring. And I am going to go just a hair past a 1/4 inch, kind of like 3/8 of an inch, to make the next row using the previous stitch as a reference, but not laying on it. There's a space between it. Just doing it by eye, by feel. by 40 plus years of doing the same thing. All right, we're coming up to meet that. Now, there's no need to back stitch that. Just roll right over it. I'm going to get that little micro stitch that got past me. As I made that join, just pull that little micro stitch out there. And that's perfect. All right, now let's do we'll continue on. Now I'm still chasing, even though the presser foot is not on the previous stitch. I am definitely chasing it around. So if there's a micro movement that I see, I'll follow it. And the eye will make its adjustment. And will not see that. Since we're not machines, we're not perfect. But they still look perfect. Just by chasing that around. Chase that seam. Chase it around. Chase it all the way around. Let's do another one. I want to start in the same spot. Now, having said that, if you make a big deviation, well, you need to pull that seam out. I'm talking about a micro deviation that my eye will see. But I'm kind of trained to see that. Okay, we're bringing it back home. All right, I'm gonna roll right over that. All right, so we see we have some structure right? And we see we have some structure also on the top part. I had to get a little bespoke. I'll explain that at another time to put a little prick stitch there. I didn't want a solid stitch around it. So I had to grab my needle and thread and go around there. So we're going to prep a lining. Then we're going to combine these two and we'll go from there. Ask a bespoke tailor to make a bucket hat. Well, we got to have a little fun with it. Actually, there's something else I want to do around here also. But you see, there's some canvassing. Now, you ask a tailor to make anything simple, there's going to be some canvassing unless it's just meant to be droopy all over the place. A tailor likes structure. I like things to stand where they're supposed to stand and so forth. And so you see structure. You see structure through the whole thing. All right. Okay. We'll move on to the next step.